My husband, 35M, wants me to quit job because I, 36F, make more than him. I don't know what to do. It's been 2 weeks since this happened, and I want to get this out my chest. When me and my husband started dating, it was clear he made more money, but that would change when I got my first promotion. I started earning 20 more than his average salary. At first, he didn't mind even celebrating with me, but as time moved on, he started making slid remarks about it. This year, I've been offered a promotion that would make my salary $156K per month. When I got home, I felt the need to share the news with him, but he just snapped at me. He told him how embarrassing it was for him and how it'd be better if I turn it down, and became a housewife about how he needed to be the provide for us, not the other way around. I tried reasoning with him and telling him about the advantages this brought, about how we could be able to afford our daughter's ballet and violin lessons, but his no earring it. I have 3 more days to be able to accept, and his threatening divorce if I accept. I don't know what to do. I've tried to everything, and still he isn't lessening. I don't know what to do. Missionaries parked in our lot to knock on doors, so I had their car towed. My apartment complex parking lot already lacks enough spaces to accommodate the number of parking passes they've given out. On average, the lot is full by 4-5 p.m., and you have to find an alternative place to park outside the complex. A weirdly large group of missionaries, 6-8, parked in our lot to knock on everyone's doors and leave flyers asking to come to their LDS Easter services. Some of them were standing around a car getting more flyers from the trunk when I pulled into my complex to park. As I'm circling, I see them all walk out of the complex as a group, presumably to go to the 3 neighboring apartment complexes on our street, leaving their car in a space. I let the office managers know, and within the hour, I can now park my car in the last remaining spot in the complex. Happy Good Friday. Ada context ***. 1. There are signs everywhere that say, permit parking only, violators will be towed at their own expense. And there's a security company that checks the cars throughout the day and overnight, and they will call the tow truck if they find a car with no pass. 2. Yes, I watched from a distance while the tow truck did my dirty work. I needed the parking spot, okay. My ex-roommates mocked me for wanting to lock the door, so I stole a potato peeler from their unlocked apartment. The summer of 2020, I, then 20F, moved into an apartment with Joel, 24M, and Sadie, 23F, who were best friends with each other and acquaintances of mine from school. It was my first time living outside of my parents' house. The apartment was in a really sketchy area of town. The cops were there multiple times a week, and we had items stolen from our vehicles. This was the best apartment we could afford since we all paid equal rent. Joel was a medical student from a wealthy family, but Sadie and I were both earning well below the poverty line. A constant fight between my roommates and I was over locking the door. They would leave the apartment completely unlocked whenever they left. I repeatedly asked them to please keep the door locked when nobody was home, since my laptop and other valuables were in the apartment. I needed my laptop for work, but could not afford to replace it if it was stolen. Every time I asked this, they totally brushed me off and implied that I was being stupid or overly anxious for wanting to lock the door. I was teased and ridiculed for this request on multiple occasions, and they never respected my wishes. They said that if anything got stolen, we could just replace it. I came home on many occasions to an empty apartment with the door unlocked. They were okay roommates other than that, but this was a recurring point of tension. After a few months of living with them, I moved into a different apartment in the same complex with my friend, Maggie, 20F. Maggie and I were very much on the same page about keeping the door locked. We remained relatively cordial with Joel and Sadie and occasionally said hi in the parking lot, but we didn't hang out with them since they weren't taking COVID seriously at all. One evening, I was cooking dinner alone in my apartment, and to my dismay, our potato peeler was nowhere to be found. I scoured the whole kitchen and couldn't find it, and unfortunately the peeler was essential to the meal I was making. I decided to go see if Joel and Sadie were home and willing to loan me their potato peeler. I walked over to their building, our keys got us into any building in the complex, went up to their apartment and knocked on the door. No answer. Then, something snapped in me. Though I knew I shouldn't, I tried the door, and of course, it was unlocked. I went into their dark, empty apartment, grabbed their potato peeler out of their kitchen drawer, took it back to my own apartment, and never said anything to them about it. 6 years later, I still have that potato peeler. Small revenge, but extremely satisfying. We set up a kettle station in the bedroom, in an act of malicious compliance. Been having issues with 2 roommates for a while. Our pettiness has reached a new level this week. One of the girls has claimed ownership of a tiny space of the kitchen worktop, conveniently right next to where we have our kitchen utensils OFC. We left out our toasty maker for an hour to cool down. She freaked out. Anyway, since the concept of things being on her worktop is so distressing for her, we've decided we should politely confiscate our kettle from the kitchen. She 1000% uses it literally all the time, but we wouldn't want to upset the poor girl by putting things on HER worktop, would we? Anyway, we've gone full Monty. We have set up the kettle in our room, bought those little hotel milk things, brought in the sugar and the mugs and all the sugar/tea from the kitchen. It basically feels like it's a little hotel set up, and wah. The petty revenge worked. Girl is mad, but obviously can't make any comments on the matter without sounding deranged. How do I, 35F, handle my soon-to-be ex-husband, 38M, asking me to change my name back? Throw away. Not to be dramatic, but last year was the worst year of my life. I got unexpectedly laid off from my job of 8 years in June, and immediately things with my husband of 6 years/partner of 11 years, Nick, felt off. I scrambled to try to save my marriage and find a new job, all while we were plunged into financial uncertainty because I was the breadwinner and the provider of insurance. It was awful. I felt powerless. It was unclear what was up with Nick. Checking in with him yielded only vagaries, but he did tell me, "I am unavailable to support you emotionally at this time." Long story short, by September and after exactly one couples therapy session, Nick told me he no longer wanted to be married to me. He immediately shacked up with a mutual friend before even officially moving out of our shared house. This was an insanely painful chapter of my life, and I'm glad to be through it and doing better. 6 months have passed and he hasn't even filed, though he reportedly tells people we're divorced. I have a new, even better job now. Nick and I have kept it civil, and I'll be buying him out of our house. Yesterday, we met up to talk details. I'm trying to be fair to him while also taking into account his actual financial contribution to our marriage. Things were going well. We were headed towards a compromise when he said to me, "It's also really important to me that you change your name back to your maiden name." I was blindsided. I said, "That's my name?" And he replied, "No, it's mine, and I don't want you walking around with it." The tone of our negotiations soured after this. It seems like a line in the sand for him. My married name is cool. It has star power. I'd liken it to Ruby Stone. My maiden name has the vibe of Ike, Ruby Higginbottom. I was planning keeping Stone. I'm not sentimental about its attachment to Nick, and to mention, it's a years-long pain in the butt to change your name. Married women out there get me. I need advice and a gut check. That's a wild thing to ask me, right? Is this even a thing? Nick is quite entitled and domineering. I'm sorry to say it isn't unlike him to tell me exactly what he expects me to do. I'm worried this will derail our buyout negotiations. I also don't want to do it. How do I gracefully handle this considering he'll definitely try to fight me on it?